What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel for another game breakdown video. This one we're going to take a look at Game 3 between the Heat and the 76ers in their Eastern Conference semifinal series. You can see on the screen that the current line is set at 3.5 at the time I'm recording this, and the over-under set at 210.5. I think the line is a good line. I think if Embiid was playing, you might see the 76ers as a slight favorite, but the Heat going on the road, they've been winners pretty big in the last two games of the series. So I think we can expect the Heat to be favorites here, and 3.5 is probably right, being in Philly with a pretty hostile crowd. Now getting into the stats for each team, we'll see that the Heat are shooting 37.7% from three, which is the best in the NBA, and they're holding their opponents to only 33.6% from three, which is also the best in the NBA. And I threw their possessions per game in there, which is at 99.8, because they are one of the slower paced teams in the league. Most teams in the NBA have over 100 possessions per game. So I think we can expect a pretty slow-paced game. Also, because the 76ers only average 99.6 possessions per game, neither team is looking to get in transition, run up and down the floor. They like to play a slow-paced game and kind of run their half-court sets. So we'll see how that goes for each team. The 76ers shoot about 36.4% from three this season, which is 7th in the NBA. And they also defend it pretty well, holding their opponents to 34.3% from the three-point line, which is, again, 7th in the NBA. I mean, you can see here the Heat have a slight edge in shooting and defense. Again, this is all with Embiid for the 76ers. Without Embiid, they're a completely different team. So it's kind of hard to get a judge of what to expect from the 76ers. Again, Harden struggled the last two games. The Heat have done a pretty good job defending him, and the Heat have just kind of dominated overall. So we'll see what Game 3 brings with the 76ers being at home and having the crowd behind them. But getting into my pick, I'm going to go with the Heat money line at -152. We saw in the stats, you can go and break down their stats even more, but they're just better offensively. They're much more efficient offensively. They score more points with the same amount of possessions as the 76ers. They play better defense. I mean, we saw their opponent three-point percentage, but that's anywhere on the floor. They just play suffocating defense, and they have guys that can match up with anyone. And then again, the biggest factor in my opinion is that Embiid is out. If Embiid was playing, this game would be significantly different. Again, I mentioned it in the line. If Embiid was playing, I think we'd see a different line. But he's out again for Game 3. Maybe he'll be back for Game 4. I don't think really anybody knows at this point other than himself. But Embiid being out is a big factor, and again, that's why I'm going Heat money line.